for some peace of mind. But TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat. And someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line. And Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling, my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Yeah, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just...
Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. I'm not wearing pink. There has to be a certain color pink that for red hair, and meh. I'm just, I couldn't find the pink. I didn't want to deal with it. So I thought purple. Why not? But it is Wednesday. We have a lot of news. I've got some warnings about some weather coming in. I'm not a meteorologist, but I do have expertologists looking at why hell has decided to freeze over this time. Also, be sure that, do we have a plan? Do we have the location and whereabouts of Juicy Smollett? Because I'm not doing another Arctic bomb where this man is, trying to go to Subway and decides to cause a made-up kerfuffle. So, related to national security, I suggest we find the whereabouts of Jussie Smollett before this, cold weather comes in. I'm only being half joking about that. I mean, honestly. Thank you guys so much. I decided to put a little more effort in since we will probably be on verdict watch. And you guys will be with me in the morning. Nick has a meeting because he has real life work. So you will be on the Petty Express this morning as we go through closings and probably start on verdict watch. Now, just a little housekeeping and something to keep in mind, because I know we're all going to start getting, the, oh my Lord, verdict. We didn't get a verdict in one day. Y'all, I'm going to break it down. Now, I take notes like someone is going to pay me per word, but I have 250 pages of notes. Just on this case. Now, some of those are opening statements, which the jury wouldn't have, but I'm guessing comparably, they're going to have possibly 1 to 2 notebooks, and they're going to need time to kind of go over and process all of the stupid that they have seen in this trial. So let's try to all exercise, and I'm saying this to myself. Look, I don't even listen to me sometimes, but let's try not to get, too cray-cray if we don't get a verdict today. Now, both sides have been given an hour and a half with a slight bit of leeway. Now, remember that the state has to divide that hour and a half between 2 people. So it is going to be interesting. It looks like the defense is going to be splitting between Nico Suave and Suspenders or Yukon Cornelius. So it's going to be interesting. But now for the headlines you need to move through this world, and none of the politics or hot takes that we don't really need, because there's other channels for that. Well, I mean, maybe don't take an entire jet from a country that has possibly nebulous intentions. Air Force One had to turn around after Trump took off for Davos, as Caroline Levitt joked about the $400 million Qatari jet that was gifted to the U.S. Yeah, I mean, Was it a Boeing? I mean, Air Force One experienced a minor electrical issue and was forced to return to Maryland Tuesday night shortly after President Trump had taken off for Switzerland, according to official White House, press releases. Now, the issue had been identified after the crew took off for Davos, where Trump had been slated to deliver a keynote speech to European leaders at the World Economic Forum on Wednesday. Here's the thing. Like, y'all, seriously, I had lived in hope that with whatever conspiracy you believe, that the government is actually in charge and competent, or reptilians are ruling us all, or the Illuminati, or the Masons, or the Shriners. I mean, whichever conspiracy you choose to believe, I had hoped that whatever secret cabal of catillions ran us, that they were smart. Like, I didn't care which one eventually came out to be true, but I was hoping that we were, in fact, being ruled in the shadow by our intellectual betters. Turns out they're just more hot mess than I am, and they're in charge. This is not comforting. Again, I really don't care who rules me. I was just hoping they'd be smart. And that hope is dying more and more each day. Now, Air Force One did land at the Joint Base Andrews, airfield in Maryland, where he did actually board a new plane. So he will be delayed getting into Zurich, but he will be able to tell the catillions what to do. So always good. Sorry, Mr. Mo is at Walmart, and I sent him, yes, he's getting envelope for shipping my giveaway stuff. So I'm trying to convert with him, and he's like, I am at Walmart. What do you need? So, again, regardless of how you feel, and I do know that this current administration is divisive, to say the least. What I will say is I'm glad that they caught this. Even presidents I haven't agreed with, I've always prayed for, just because, like I said, I may not like you being in charge, but I don't want you to be a flippiting flapjack moron. Like, I may not have voted for you, but I'd like you to try to do your best and not be evil. I mean, yeah, I know. Well, look out. Karen has a new accomplice. She's younger, she's more obnoxious, and she wants to speak to your manager. Oh, wait, no, wrong story. Almost as scary as running into a Karen or her new younger counterpart. Yeah, I remember why I did this. I was like, snow is more important than a new Karen subtype. Now, look, you guys, I recommend Ryan Hall. There's also Max Velocity. There are a lot of YouTubers who are very, very good at meteorology. I am not a meteorologist. What I want to say is do be mindful and try to be prepared, especially if you're in the more southern states. This could be potential for icing and loss of power, and it's going to be extremely cold in places where you're not used to being cold. And driving on ice is not like driving on snow. So do be careful when you go out. Do have some supplies and, a plan if you don't have a generator of where you can go to remain warm. Charge up your devices, that kind of thing. I mean, again, I'm not mainstream media. I'm not going to, make fear prawn. But what I do want you guys to do is to be prepared. So this is your warning from your Hot Mess Express to get your Midwestern staples of French toast fixins, eggs, bread, milk. Sorry. Mountain Dew, Diet Pop, booze, whatever. I mean, however you choose to prepare. A potentially catastrophic snow and ice storm will start blasting several states across the U.S. this weekend, potentially blanketing snow or trees and roads and power lines with snow and ice combo. Now, the storm will arrive late this week and last into the weekend, and it will be widespread, potentially catastrophic from Texas to the Carolinas. Now, this is going to be an incredibly slow moving storm, so that's what the potentialities for the higher kind of accumulations in different places is coming from. So do be prepared. Again, we saw a couple of years ago when Texas had cold and they lost power. Hopefully, there are more community centers that have generators specifically to give people a warm place to go to if their homes run out of power. And hopefully, they have looked at that failure several years ago and planned accordingly. But this is again relying on that conspiracy that federal, local, or even, HOA governments are fit for purpose and do what they say they need to do. So, like I said, don't live in fear. Don't go and, run away and join the circus. But do have some supplies, do have a plan if you run out of power for a place where you can go that's warm. Have extra blankets and things in your car. Tell your children about these things. I will be calling my daughter today to remind her of these things because this will be the first big snowstorm that she's, away at college. It's weird to say that. She's always been here with any storm. So now calling her to, remind her all the mom stuff. And she's got a good head on her shoulders. So she's probably done all of this. But it's the mom thing where like, hi, it's not that I think you're dumb, but I worry. So I just want to remind you. So she's going to be getting one of those calls today. But do be careful. I mean, this is going to be affecting a lot of the country. Be mindful if you have any travel, arranged, if you can possibly stay off the road, do that if you are, able to stay in to keep the roads clear and clean from a pileup. I did see that Michigan 100 car pileup, and yeah, if you can stay home, and I know there are some people that can't, just be careful, give yourself plenty of distance, plenty of time to make it in, and have extra supplies with you in case you get stuck. So just be careful, use common sense. I mean, should anyone find any in the year of 2026? I mean, it would be good. And now, apparently, we have a new Pokemon in the Karen Collect Your I Would Like to Speak to Your Manager game. Karen, the older boomer Karen is still a thing, but apparently millennials have come up with their own name for people who are about my age, who seem to think that they get special treatment everywhere. Well, Karen, meet your match. She's younger, she's obnoxiouser, and she's not going to have it. She'd like to speak to your district manager. Lately, there's a fresh, new-faced version of the infamous boomer baiting manager requesting asymmetrical bob sporting object of derision. And her name is Jessica. And as Flux tells us, Becky is a hoe name. Jessica apparently is a C-word name. Now, from comedy sketches to Reddit threads to viral comment sections, this younger, sassier cousin of the original is quickly becoming shorthand for women found guilty by the online mob of entitled, abrasive, or just plain annoying behavior. I approve of this ad. On social media, the Jessica mentions are piling up fast, from Patagonia quarter sip sporting moms who complain that they look homeless today, classic Jessica, to the kind of people who ruin everything with their unknowingly irritating behavior. Not today, Jessica. TikTok and the like have found a new name of derision. Now, that's leaving some real-life Jessicas feeling more than a little singled out, even if not particularly mad about their sudden position in the line of digital fire. Now, Jessica Keene, 25 of Brooklyn, is embracing the viral notoriety of it all, telling the Post she isn't the least bit offended. I like that my name has its own identity and love hearing you're such a Jessica. I mean, I really don't care. Now, the likelihood of my name becoming shorthand for being a C word in public is unlikely because I was one of those lucky children that, in the early 90s, they always had these tourist tchotchkes where your name would be like on a little license plate. Yeah, no, my mom picked a name that never showed up on license plates until like 2 years ago. So the likelihood of my name being used for shorthand, absolutely non-existent. Would I care if it did become shorthand? I'd be like, sometimes the name fits, ma'am. Oh my God, Becky, look at that big Karen. Yeah, again, I used to work in retail. I have never understood, and it is in fact the biggest turnoff to me if a person is rude to retail people or staff. I've taught my children from like when they were itty bitty, because this is how I was raised, that you say yes, ma'am, yes, sir to the CEO and the janitor. You respect every single person because they're a human. Yeah. So, yeah, don't be an asshole. I get like, is that not a thing that most people just wake up and think, you know, I just ought not to have my head stuffed directly up my bung, the entire day? Or also, how do you breathe? Maybe I'll ask Alec Baldwin when I get famous. So, exactly how do you breathe with your head so far up your rectum? He hits, though, allegedly in Minecraft, um, and gets mad at people. So maybe I'll ask him over a Zoom call and he'll just throw his computer. Allegedly in Minecraft. Yeah, no, be nice, be kind, don't be a butthole. Like, now the rest of this show could basically be, well, for weeks we've gone without a Lord Chippy. We have a bunch of people that kindly, I mean, allegedly, might need a visit from our most favorite co-host, the giver of justice, the respecter of due process, but allegedly in Minecraft this could be an option, our friend, Lord Chippy.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
Well, a North Carolina restaurateur has been accused of fatally poisoning her own daughter with tainted wine at a Thanksgiving dinner in 2007. Yeah, because I want her in charge of my food. That face? I think we can go ahead and say mugshot can confirm. I don't know that this woman's ever been kind to anyone in her life. Also, when Sarah Boone has better hair than you? Yikes. A North Carolina restaurateur was arrested Friday on 2 counts of murder, one for the death of her own daughter, who she allegedly poisoned at a Thanksgiving dinner, and one for the death of a man who was killed in a house fire nearly 20 years ago. Now, investigators revealed the alleged murderous mom may be linked to more deaths that were mysterious in her past. At her bond hearing on Tuesday, Gundrum Casper Leinenkugel? What in the Amish Rhapsody is this? Gudrun. That's not a name you can, I hope, what? That just doesn't, that's not a cool name. Probably means something really pretty in German or Swedish or something, but it just kind of sounds like something you would name a troll doll. You know, when they used to have those, I love troll dolls. I legitimately wished that my real people would come take me home. For those of you who might not know, I was an odd kid. Go figure. So when I saw E.T., I legitimately thought, you know what? I relate to that. Maybe I have been left behind by my people. So I wished on my troll dolls that my real people would find me. And you guys have. And I didn't even have to leave my house, which, like, awesomeness. Now, she is alleged to have killed one daughter, sickened her other daughter, and the woman's boyfriend with poisoned wine in November, according to prosecutors, their allegations at the hearing. Now, victim Leah Levis split the tainted wine bottle with her sister and her sister's boyfriend during the family's 12-person Thanksgiving, festivities. Now, the 9 other people at the celebration, including this chick, stayed away from wine, so they were fine. Now, all 3 fell ill shortly after the dinner, and Levis passed away on December 1st, according to prosecutors in her obituary. The Henderson County Sheriff's Office quietly launched an investigation with backing from the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, looking into Casper Leinenkugel's weird kind of behavior after her daughter's peculiar demise. Now, police determined that the wine that the 3 victims had drank was spiked with a colorless, acetone nitrite, a colorless liquid commonly found in lithium batteries. Holy God. Okay, not that I'm giving anyone advice, because this is do not felony, do not poison people. But have we forgotten that antifreeze and Visine exist? Like, why the hell did you need to milk a battery? Not that you should be poisoning, but I mean, do what now? Like, she legitimately squeezed a battery? I give up, people. Don't crime. So basically, that particular chemical does convert into cyanide over time. Now, before Thanksgiving, Casper Leinenkugel had Googled what happens after I accidentally ingest acetone nitrite. According to her history, don't Google your crimes. Now, during their months-long probe into the mother over her daughter's death, deputies had also uncovered evidence that they say connects Casper Leinenkugel to the cold case death of Michael Schmidt, who passed away in a house fire in 2007. State prosecutors noted that Casper Leinenkugel was also tied to other unspecified deaths that are still under investigation, according to a local news station. Now, details about those related or possibly related cases were not revealed at any hearing. Now, Casper Leinenkugel is a Hendersonville local who owned and operated a now closed restaurant in Asheville, North Carolina, that she styled after pubs that she grew up around in Germany. Now, in a 2016 profile with the local outlet Mountain Express, Casper Leinenkugel claimed she had opened 6 restaurants and bars across the U.S., plus a laundromat. She told the publication that her extended family also operates Wisconsin's Leinenkugel Brewing Company. I mean, it's the only reason I know how to say Leinenkugel is because it's a beer that I've heard. I'm not a beer drinker, so I can't give any recommendations, but it's possible. I don't know how many Leinenkugels there are in Germany. It might be just as normal as Smith. Now, the former restaurant owner has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder, along with 3 counts of distribution of certain food and beverage prohibited, according to the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. Now, she was, well, not obviously, I guess, she was denied bail during her hearing on Tuesday. The state warned that she could potentially be facing the death penalty. Now, North Carolina officials are currently pushing to resume capital punishment through Irina's Law, named after the Ukrainian refugee who was stabbed to death by a repeat offender with schizophrenia. The law specifically seeks to expand the methods that the state can use, including death by firing squad and the electric chair. Now, under current laws, death row inmates can only be executed by lethal injection. We've got more jackasses. Don't worry. It's like our cup overfloweth with dumbassery today. Now, I don't know what the hell you need to do to get Teacher of the Year, but how do you win the award and then punch a kid in the face? I am all the confused. And again, it's from the Carolinas. Holy cow. Carolinas, do you need help? Now, this one's from South Carolina. A South Carolina special education teacher who had won the 2025 Teacher of the Year award at her charter school has been arrested after she was accused of punching a child. Gonna say it, mugshot can confirmed. She looks like an unhappy dump truck of a woman allegedly in Minecraft. Aaron Wheeler, 34, was charged with unlawful child neglect for allegedly striking the child on November 27th, according to arrest records obtained by KWQC. Now, Wheeler is a teacher at South Carolina Whitmore School in Columbia and allegedly chased the child into a bathroom and continued to punch them in the forehead and upper body as he attempted to defend himself. Now, police say that the victim did have bruising on his body and arms from trying to block the punches. Now, authorities noted that the alleged assault did not happen in school grounds. It's her own kid. It's worse. Like, it's bad either way. It's not good if she did it outside of school. It's bad that she had the inclination in the first place. Now, Wheeler appeared in Lexington County Court last week, where a judge set her bond at $2,500 and issued a no-contact order between her and the victim. The victim's mother, who has not been identified, blasted the court's decision for handing the teacher what she described as a low bond. The charter school said that they are aware of the allegations against Wheeler, but emphasized that the incident did not involve any of their students. The school, which educates students grades 9 through 12, said that the educator has been placed on administrative paid leave pending an investigation. Now, Wheeler was named Whitmore School's 2025 Teacher of the Year in March for embodying the essence of an outstanding educator. Yeah, she probably had that in a jar in her closet along with her soul. Just because she has the essence of one doesn't, I mean, yeah, again, like her soul and her heart in a jar in her closet. Interesting. Now, 3 weeks before the alleged incident, Wheeler was featured across Whitmore School's various social media pages advocating for how schools should empower students and change lives. She said that her passion for education began in high school, where teachers inspired her to pursue the profession. She chose to specialize in special education because her older sister was born deaf. And then she punched a child repeatedly. Go to jail, do not pass go. Now you can teach prison inmates how to read. Now, this is one that I hadn't been aware of. Honestly, I stopped looking at a lot of the kind of Lord Chippy stories because they were putting me in such a bad mood. But now Satan's dealing with him, and I mean, it's his problem now. A husband who decapitated his newlywed wife was found no longer living in a Texas prison cell. Find myself looking for damns to give. Nope, couldn't find one damn. Dang it. Maybe tomorrow. A Texas man who took the life of his wife and decapitated her just 4 months after their wedding was found dead in a prison cell on Friday. James Dickus. Oh, God. Well, bon voyage, Dickus. I'm sure Satan is having a good time with that last name. 24, pled guilty to the barbaric murder of his wife, 21-year-old Ange Diaz, in an open and shut trial in 2024. Now, he was sentenced to 4 decades in prison, and his earliest parole date was set for 2043. Why was he eligible for parole? Like, when you go beyond red rum into making someone a jigsaw puzzle, I say we lock the door and throw away the key. I mean, call me crazy, but that seems like, part of the function of prison. Yes, it's like a tripartite kind of thing. We want to, punishment, rehabilitation, and safety for the public. See, he needs to be kept in for safety for the public. It's a 3-pronged thing. He may get rehabilitated. Yay for him. He can be safely behind bars because the rest of us don't want to take, a gamble on whether this man's going to roll a 1 or a 20 and decide to go back and be cray-cray again. It's not hard to understand. Why does this man have parole? It's a moot point at this point. On Friday, he was found no longer living in his one-person cell in the Wainwright unit in Houston County, according to a state death report that was obtained by local news. Now, prison staff did try resuscitative efforts when they came across his body, but he was pronounced dead by the responding EMS staff just before 11 p.m. Now, Diaz and Dickus had wed in October 2022, much to the revulsion of their close friends who disapproved of their rocky on-again, off-again relationship. Now, Diaz's mutilated body, including her severed head, was ditched in the shower with a knife and found in the couple's Houston area home on January 11th, 2023. Dickus's father, who lived in a larger home on the same property as the couple's cottage, came across her body and immediately called the cops. So his father called the police on his own son, which good for him. Now, Dickus had a few hours to spare between the murder and his swift arrest. During that window, he cruised over to Chepe's Meat Market, where Diaz worked, and stole a can of beer, which he chugged in the parking lot, according to surveillance. Do what? Anyway, I mean, taxpayers no longer have to pay for him. I do feel sorry for his family. His dad seemed like he did the right thing when he came across a scene. He didn't try to protect his son. And I do feel sorry for the parents of his victim, but also his parents, because you can remember that little baby that you held, and whatever he grew up to be, they still are probably grieving that baby. So as much as I made fun of it, him shuffling off the mortal coil, I do feel sorry for his parents because they seemed like they were doing the right thing and turning their son in, which I'm sure was not easy. And in our final, well, Lord Chippy. Now, Seattle, look, I don't want to dog on you, but if you have a McDonald's that has to go, to a safety hatch because it was called McStabby's, possibly something is going wrong. Just a scotch. Like, hey, you know what? That being said, Seattle guys, I don't live there. So if this is how y'all like it, if this is what you like and this is how you want to live, then y'all, there we go. I'm okay with it. Personally, I would not like to live in a place that had a McStabby's, but there you go. Well, a Seattle McDonald's nicknamed McStabby has had to remove its door and now serves customers through a hatch amid multiple attacks. Yeah, again, like I said, when your McDonald's needs to be behind like stab-proof glass, maybe things have gone just a scotch wrong. A McDonald's in Seattle that is allegedly so dangerous it had to remove its doors now serves customers through a hatch. Instead of walking into the location at the corner of 3rd Avenue and Pine Street in downtown Seattle to order food and drinks, patrons now have to go to a hatch, mostly covered in plexiglass. The double doors leading to McDonald's are reportedly propped open at all times, and the glass outside the hatch is covered with plywood to protect it from vandalism. A 45-year-old named Nick spoke to Daily Mail about the location in question, which Seattle locals have come to name McStabby's, per the outlet claiming that people tend to, well, do not street legal pharmaceuticals, then attack each other for fun outside of the fast food joint. As you do. Dinner and a show. Move over medieval times. Have you heard of McStabby times? Where you get a 10-piece nugget and possibly you're an accessory to a felony. I mean, or a victim. We could work on the marketing. Now, Nick made the comment that as the outline visited the location, which is just blocks away from the city's famous Pike Place Market. When it's dark, it's way worse and way more people are getting assaulted and robbed. So, just stay away from McStabby's. If you are worried that you're in a rough neighborhood, if the McDonald's is plexiglass and plywood over, yes, you are in fact in a terrible part of the neighborhood, and run. Just my, suggestion as a Midwesterner. But yeah, run fastly. Well, that is all for Lord Chippy for today. Now on to the news that will make us question whether we are in the end times or not. Yep, we have a lot of stories, and one that could have been a toss-up between Lord Chippy or Final Form Jesus, but I don't know where I stand on it, so I'll let you guys decide. We have a story that we have to figure out in the right, in the wrong.
G-Keep Grove, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, Final Form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack listening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
All right. I really didn't know whether to put this in like Lord Chippy, Quest for Justice, or Justified. A wife stabbed her estranged husband after learning he euthanized their rescue dog. I just saw red. Now, I would like to publicly say that regardless of emotion or fur babies, stabbing is not good. Do not stab people. However, as a former dog mom and a current cat mom, yeah, I can see it. A heartbroken British dog owner allegedly saw red and stabbed her estranged husband after he revealed that he had euthanized her two. Oh, it was two dogs? Yep, nope. No. And even though I have had terrible experiences with dachshunds, jury nullification is a thing, people. Claire Bridger, 64, stood trial for attempted murder after allegedly stabbing her husband of nearly 40 years, Keith Bridger, in the chest and abdomen during a visit to his Norfolk home on July 17, 2025, after he told her he had to put down their dogs. Now, Claire is a registered school nurse and testified in Norwich Crown Court earlier this month that she struggled to cope with the separation of their 40-year marriage in the months leading up to the attack and was prescribed medication. She was so distraught about the kind of dissolution of her marriage that she even took time off from work. And she was pushed over the edge when she discovered that both dogs had been put down. She told the court she suffered from temporary amnesia due to the combination of stress and alcohol, and she saw red after learning that the couple's beloved dachshunds had both been put to sleep. Now, the mother of two said she never intended to kill Keith, but admitted she intended to cause harm to him. Again, if this is a jury trial, I don't know how it's going, because people like dogs more than they like people. She could end up being your new governor or your new prime minister. She'd be more popular than Keir Starmer. Just throwing it out there. Now, prosecutors said the couple adopted one of the rescue dogs in March of 2020, shortly before the COOF lockdown, and another one approximately, a year later. Now, the stabbing occurred about a year after the couple had separated, with the dogs remaining in Keith's care. However, after the breakup, Keith was unable to keep the pets, describing them as having behavioral issues. Then why didn't you just give the dogs to your ex-wife? Like, love the dogs more than you hate your ex-wife. Or, again, if you hate your ex-wife, give her the evil, bad behaving dogs. This is not hard. Now, he wasn't able to keep them at his one-bedroom home, and after failed attempts to rehome them, he decided to euthanize them. Okay, no, this is legitimately, allegedly in Minecraft, I would have a terribly hard time judging this as a juror. But it's just because he couldn't take care of their behavior, and the wife probably wanted them. I'm not voting guilty. Now, Claire said one of her daughters urged her to return home, warning that the dogs would otherwise be put down because they were difficult to care for. Now, Keith ultimately did decide to euthanize the dogs. I thought it was nonsense. I thought they would never put down the dogs no matter what, Claire told the court. There was no need. I thought it was a demand to make me come home. Now, Claire recalled knowing something was wrong the moment she arrived at her estranged husband's home on the day of the attack. I just thought, I can't hear the dogs because they're usually yappy. Keith said he had returned from a motorcycle ride when she was confronting him and demanded to know where the two dogs were. I shouted, "Where are the dogs?" and he didn't answer me, she recalled. He was taking his helmet off, and I beeped my horn and shouted it again. After asking the third time, Claire said she started to feel very anxious, and she told the court it was when he turned around facing me in the car and said, "You know where the dogs are, the vet wrote you." And I said, I had a text from the vet, and he said, "You know what happened to the dogs are dead, I had them put down." All right, well, it was a moment of passion. I would like to be on this woman's defense. Just absolutely. So she decided. Now, she doesn't remember what she did after that. Stricken by grief, Claire said realizing that the dogs had been put down felt like an explosion in her head, and she vaguely remembers stepping out of her car before her memory goes fuzzy. I don't know what happened to me. I would never intentionally try to hurt Keith, let alone try to kill him. She said her next memory was a neighbor dragging her off her soon-to-be ex-husband. Prosecutors said Claire was screaming, "He killed my dogs," when police arrived, adding she just saw red. Now, Keith, who was or is still attending, at the time, he was attending mediation sessions with his wife. Yeah, I don't think y'all are getting back together. I think you can go ahead and buy a Taylor Swift album of like, "We are never, ever, ever getting back together." No, I think y'all are both done. Now, all joking aside, Keith was treated for life-threatening injuries on the scene. Claire told the court that the knife was in her car because it was bent and had been placed in a bag of garbage she was going to take to the local dump. She said the knife fell out of the bag beside the driver's seat, so she tossed it on the front passenger seat. Now, Keith told the court he had not told his wife that the dogs were euthanized, but said he believed she already knew because he had unsuccessfully tried to rehome them. He recalled her becoming almost hysterical when he told her moments before the attack. Now, following a 5-day trial, The jury found her not guilty of attempted red rum, but did convict her of wounding with intent. Now she will be scheduled on March 20th. Now, this is a UK story, so I am not quite sure what she's looking at. I don't know what the prison sentence is, so it will be interesting to see what the legal ramifications are. But yeah, I'm having a hard time like trying to figure out how I feel about this one. Well, have you ever wanted to help the environment and get your grub on? Well, some restaurants are encouraging just that. Experts are urging people to eat creatures that are basically invasive. So, wildlife conservation programs and DNR officers are actually recommending and encouraging local businesses to cook invasive species. If you can, maybe we could eat them. At least that's the growing attitude of many across the United States who have exhausted most other methods of dealing with invasive species. Now, according to the Wildlife Federation, the growing invasorism movement is encouraging people to help ecological, balances by eating species that are invasive to the local, biosphere. Now, they basically come in and they make it very hard for local animals because they're generally better at getting food or they reproduce very quickly. So they do tend to crowd out native species. But the National Wildlife Federation is encouraging chefs, scientists, and local communities to test a different approach. One of the most often cited examples is of the lionfish, that is really not indigenous to the Caribbean or the Gulf of Mexico, but they have an extremely, few natural predators and enormous appetite, so they can wipe out the natural fish around there. Well, in Florida, restaurants are teaming up to do things like the Lionfish Restaurant Week to show diners that they can eat this invasive species, and it's pretty good. I mean, sounds good. Now, this is also happening in Hawaii, where a invasive fish called the tapie is finding place on seafood restaurants, and they look like they are beginning to incorporate it more in dishes to try to help with numbers. And it seems like a good idea if they're good. Now, in Mississippi, locals are pushing to make the nutria. It's like a huge, giant capybara or giant rat. Now, they're much cuter than rats. I've got to say, like, I would have a capybara, and I'm not really pro rodent. That being said, they are invasive, so it looks like Mississippi is going to figure out how to barbecue one of them suckers, and I'm okay with that. But this does seem to be a sort of new twist on how to deal with invasive species. So there you go. I mean, it's a cool idea. Now, in the story that just why a story that makes me wish that final form Jesus would be on the earth. Well, the self-deletion pod inventor has decided there's an upgrade to the model. Apparently, you can do couples self-deletion. What in the Romeo and Juliet didn't make sense then, doesn't make sense now, is this. A year after the controversial assisted deletion device was kind of rolled out into the human consciousness for the first time, the inventor said he's preparing a new version designed for two, because that's what we need. 2026, pace yourself. Really, pace yourself. Because why not? Now, Philip Nitschies, the Australian-born physician behind Sarco, the device that deletes you, says development is underway for a larger AI-enabled model specifically built for couples who would like to leave at the same time. I'm not suggesting that everyone's going to race forward and say, boy, I'd really like to do this with you, but some people might want this. It's a dying market. Now, he said he's already had some interest from couples, including one from Britain, who told them that they wanted to pass away in each other's arm. Now, the new design is sometimes referred to as the double Dutch. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Like, I have dark humor, and even that is too much. Like the double Dutch? Like, seriously? Like, I have dark humor, and even I'm like, that's a little too much. Okay, it would be enough for two people and require a synchronized decision. Now, both occupants must press their buttons at the same time, or it won't go. What in the name of giblets? I just, y'all, no. If you're struggling with something, please reach out and talk to someone. Please, talk to someone, because oftentimes if our problems are our own, they end up seeming like Godzilla sized. And then when we have someone to talk to, we can get them down to Komodo dragon size. I'm not going to lie to you and say that your problems are going to go away if you talk about them, because you actually have to do something after the talking. But I can say that, if you have a chance to talk and to get it out and process, you can usually realize that that Godzilla-sized problem, yeah, maybe it's a big lizard, it's a big Komodo dragon, but it's not Godzilla. Let's see here. I know I had other ones. And in our final story, in honor of Baker, I figured I'd end with a Lord of the Rings story, just because, or as he likes to say, the hiking movie. In an article about hiking, Baker, just for you. Love ya. Sean Bean hiked up a whole mountain at 2 a.m. in full costume while making Lord of the Rings to avoid a helicopter ride. Look, Sean Bean has never lived through a movie that he's starred in. The man is not testing fate. He has seen Final Destination. He's like, oh, hell no, this will not be happening. I'm Sean Bean and I have to die in other movies. Poor guy. He does always just get yeeted at the end of every movie where he plays a hero or someone slightly heroic, The Lord of the Rings trilogy involved special effects, fight scenes, and soaring vistas, but for star Sean Bean, there was one thing that tripped him up: helicopter rides. Bean 66 opened up alongside Lord of the Ring co-star Viggo Mortensen in a new issue of Empire magazine in honor of the 25th anniversary of Fellowship of the Rings movie releasing this year. Now, the first of Peter Jackson's 3 films, which was adapted from the novels by J.R.R. Tolkien, was released in December of 2001. Now, the outlet asked Bean about a few issues he had with helicopters while making movies. Bean, who played Boromir in the films, confirmed, yeah, I was very scared of flying at the time. Mortensen 67 noted that there were a lot of helicopters, during the filming. Mortensen remembers specifically a great scene where Bean's Boromir was tempted by the ring, and it was filmed high in the mountains, covered in snow. All of the scenes were filmed in New Zealand, taking advantage of the country's, various terrain. Now, Mortensen remembered that first day they went up by helicopter. It was a 40-minute helicopter ride, and there were all sorts of downdrafts. He said to Bean, the helicopter dropped several times, and you were white-knuckling it. You were horrified, and you said to me, I really don't like this. I had to take some pills just to even get from the plane, to England, or from England to New Zealand. I'm not going to be flying in a helicopter again. Well, Bean did not have to do it again because he decided to climb up the mountain. He got up at 2 o'clock in the morning, full costume, and decided to hike up the mountain. Oh, no. Baker just hates the Lord of the Rings movies because he calls them the hiking movies of like infinity. He's basically like the entire movie is hiking. You just watch them walk. So I joke, and this was actually an article about one of the actors hiking. So I just thought it was hilarious because I love Lord of the Rings. I think they were great movies. I will watch the like extended versions of the movies. So we tend to disagree with this. So this just made me laugh, and I thought one day Baker's gonna see that I actually did an article just for him. A Lord of the Rings story about hiking. And then we get on to the crazy clips that I found for you guys today. And y'all, I have found some pretty good ones, I think. Pretty good. Pretty good. Where is... No. I love that I have these things. There we go. I figured we needed a little dose of cutie patootiness, so this is a baby porcupine throwing a tantrum. Oh gosh, don't remind me of my kiddos being... Now, 2s were not bad for me, 3s were not bad for me. My problem was the 4-nager. Now, if you don't know what a 4-nager is a 4-nager is a 4-year-old who has decided that they have independent free will. They can logic things out to a certain extent, and they are going to do what they want to do, and they question you. So yeah, it's basically a 4-year-old who thinks they're 40 or a teenager because we get the sassiness. So 4 has always been my kind of year where you're testing the Jesus in me, children. And you are way too optimistic about my religiosity, okay? He's like, fine, I'll wait my turn. Nope, I'm leaving. I'm taking my ball. I'm going home. Oh, gravity is his nemesis too. I love how the mom doesn't even... This is how you can tell this is not this porcupine's first child. Because if it was, the mom would be there picking him up and bringing him back to the food. This is her youngest, most feral. She is like, you can climb up, I'ma eat. This is not her first rodeo. Like, Mom, I'm short. Hello.
Come here.
Not
Come on, you little
tall.
monster. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on.
See, I'd love a porcupine, but if you have to wear gloves...
Sorry. Come on. You okay? You okay? I'm sorry, Spike. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's like, screw you.
Okay. Oh, she's biting. I'm sorry. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go, buddy. You're okay.
Mom's like, and he's fine. I'm good. I'll let him eat.
Love that quilt.
Never.
She didn't like me picking her up. Now she's gonna go torture her mother.
Kind of what they always do. Now, if you were a kid in the early 90s, I ran across this clip. You might have seen all of these movies, but if you didn't, just a reminder that however bad today seems, there was an entire discography of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Bunches of them. There were hundreds of billions of movies, and I watched all of them. What was my mother thinking?
Nobody tells the president what to do. Someday.
This isn't dated. Let's see what the Olsens would do if they were president. I can't remember this video. I think it's somewhat terrifying, though, if I remember.
Hey, I'd like to be president. It's a job that's caught my eye.
I love that Bill is represented. Love it. This didn't age well after the whole Monica Lewinsky thing came out.
I know I'd enjoy being president. And here's the reason why.
Oh my God, those poor little girls. Look at their eyes. I didn't realize this as a kid, but it looks like they're screaming, "Help me, my parents are evil and tried to sell me to Hollywood." I mean, their eyes aren't smiling. I feel bad for these girls now watching this.
No one tells the president how to dress.
No one tells the president to sleep with his wife. We've seen Hillary Clinton, he'd need a knife. Look, the Mary-Kate and, Mo musical is coming right along. Now, in our final clip, now I've known what furries are for a long time, but apparently Mika Brzezinski in this clip is going to learn exactly what furries are. And it's always fun to see a person realize that the world is just more kinky than they ever imagined.
18 people were hospitalized at a furry convention in Illinois after what's being called an intentional leak of chlorine
What's
gas.
a furry convention?
Did I get that wrong?
Leaked there. Oh, gosh.
Teacher, put me in. Coach, my area of expertness. Coach, I can finally explain something. Mika, call me. I'm your phone a friend. I can help you.
Okay, officials were called when a strong odor of chlorine spread.
I think they had to evacuate the building and everything.
Oh, the joy of seeing someone realize that, oh, this is a thing.
Sent the hotel guests along with convention attendees into the cold night, many still dressed in their furry costumes.
We have a lot of costumers out here with big fluffy costumes that'll keep people warm, so at this point, we're not at all worried.
It's their natural habitat. They're climatized for the cold. Whether fumes or chlorine, it's okay because the furries are warm.
So we've been pulling people into a cuddle to warm this baby.
Yeah. Thank you.
And giving her our jackets and blankets.
Yes.
We just told Mika what the convention was about.
Costumes kept everybody warm was the good news. The hotel
Where you going?
Contaminated.
Hey,
Guests came back
come
inside
back.
at 4 a.m.
Why is she running away? This is the greatest thing I've ever heard of. Like, people weirdly attracted to other people in costumes. Like, if you enjoy the cringe and weird, if you think humans as a species are incredibly fascinating because we are so inherently weird, then this is kind of interesting. Mika apparently she can't handle the truth.
Police still
Come back.
The matter
Me
is a
too.
criminal investigation.
Could you check on Mika, see if she's okay? She's over there somewhere.
Mika has left the building.
All right. Coming up, we've got the Muzz Street opinion pages. We're going to be searching for Mika. I guess she
just learned something. Learned something important about this world.
learned something that we all wish we didn't know. She ran out of the studio. We also have Senator-elect Tom Cotton. We won't ask him about
Ask Tom Cotton about furries. Anywho, you guys, I am going to be stopping here. Now, you will be sent directly to my stream Nick has some real life stuff going on, so you'll be hanging out with me for the morning. Court is supposed to start at 9:30, so have your snackety snacks in your, solo cups ready to go, because we have reading the charging documents and then closing statements, then verdict watch. So come hang out with me and we will figure out something to do, Yes, closings today. So let's see, housekeeping. Both sides were given 3 hours in total. So the defense will have an hour and a half. The state will have an hour and a half, but that state hour and a half does have to be divided by their, first closing statement and then their rebuttal. Now, the judge did tell the defense that he may allow them to go a little longer. The defense had asked for 2 hours. The state seemed kind of shocked at needing 2 hours, and the judge did limit them to about an hour and a half because he was worried that the jury would not be able to pay attention to two 2-hour speeches. So we're looking at a total of about 3 hours there. There were some additions that the defense was able to get in and clarifications on the instructions, along with not guilty appearing first on the verdict form, because apparently in Uvalde, typically, according to their prosecutor, guilty is first and then not guilty is at the bottom. But this judge did correct the verdict form to have not guilty on the top. But that's really all. I will be starting that stream at 9:30 and we will be getting ready. So I hope to see you guys there. We may, on Verdict Watch, go into the Paul Cisnero trial. I'll just have to see when Nick gets in what he wants to do, but we will be hanging out there. So come join us. And for closing statements, I think I can get away with the conductor's hat and bow tie, because we're going to have to listen to that dingus of a state prosecutor. So, like I said, get your emotional support snackety snacks. I'm not encouraging you to get an adult beverage, but you know your time zone and act accordingly. So I will see you guys in a bit. Have a great day. Bye.